Okay, in the first video we talked about Scarborough Fair and how that it's written in a mode. So we started with music, and now we're going to go to the theory part of it and show you where modes actually come from. Remember, music theory always starts with music because we're not just talking about things that aren't real. This is about music, and we're trying to learn how music is made. So if I take a C major scale, it has a certain whole step, half step pattern as we learned, whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. And that's what makes it a C major scale. If I wanted to start on another note and build a major scale, I'd have to do the same thing, whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. That's where our key signatures really come from. But if I take the C major scale and I write a song built on that, and I have C as tonic, it will have a certain kind of a sound to it. But what if I take the C major scale and I start on D, and I write a song built in D where D is tonic and E is supertonic and F is the mediant and G is the subdominant and so forth, and the whole song is built in D, but it has the same key signature of C. What would we call that? We can't call it D minor because D minor has a flat in it. It's a song that's built in the key signature of C, but it has no flats, no sharps, but D now is home base. And that's what Scarborough Fair was. Okay, but now I can also build a song in E. So now I'm still thinking in the key of C, but I can build a song in E, and I can have a whole song built in E with the key signature of C. And that wouldn't really be E minor, and it wouldn't really be E major. It's neither of those things. It's E built in the scale of C with all the same notes as the C scale, except now E becomes tonic, F becomes supertonic, G becomes the mediant, and A becomes a subdominant, and so on. I could do that with any of the notes in the C scale. I could play F up to F, and I could build a whole song on F where it has that key, the same key signature of no flats, no sharps, and I'm going to give that a whole different name, and every time I do this I have a whole new scale, and this new scale has a whole very unique pattern of whole steps and half steps. So if I take the C again, I'm going to call this mode number 1. It is the major scale. It is mode number 1. If I start on the scale degree 2 and I build a new key like this, I'm going to call this mode number 2. In a similar way, if I begin on scale degree 3, I'm going to call this mode number 3 of the C scale. Mode number 4 of the C scale would be F up to F in the key of C. Mode number 5 would be G up to G. And say they all have a unique sound. Mode number 6, you might recognize mode number 6 because it is the pure minor scale. Mode number 6 of any major scale is the natural minor, but we can also call it mode number 6. Mode number 7 in this case would be B up to B. B would be tonic in that case. So let's go back now to C up to C. Mode number 1 is called the major scale, but you know it has another name. All the modes have names. Mode number 1 is called Ionian, I-O-N-I-A-N, Ionian mode. So a major scale can also be called the Ionian mode. Mode number 2 is called the Dorian mode, okay, and it's any scale degree 2 of any major scale up to its octave, keeping the key signature of the original parent key, and that's called the Dorian mode. Mode number 3 is called Phrygian, P-H-R-Y-G-I-A-N, Phrygian. Mode number 4, F up to F in the key of C, is called Lydian. G up to G, mode 5, is called Mixolydian, Mixolydin. Mode number 6, A up to A in this case, in the key of C, is called Aeolian, Aeolian. Mode number 7, B to B in the key of C in this case, is called Locrian, Locrian. And any of these keys, any of these modes can serve as the scale for a song. Now the only one that really isn't used is the Locrian mode, because the tonic triad would be a diminished triad with 2 minor thirds, and it doesn't sound very good. And so composers never use this mode really for composing music, because the tonic triad is corrupted by its diminished quality. So we have 7 modes, and you need to memorize them: Ionian, Dorian, Phrygian, Lydian, Mixolydian, Aeolian, and Locrian. You might remember those by this acronym, I don't paint like Michelangelo. So that gives you at least the first 6, then you could just memorize Locrian, which is not used very much. So I don't paint like Michelangelo, Ionian, Dorian, Phrygian, Lydian, Mixolydian, and Aeolian. Now, you need to also understand that this is true of any major scale. You could take the D major scale, which has 2 sharps in it. So this would be D major, but it would also be called D Ionian. Now if I wanted E Dorian, or if I wanted mode 2, it would be E Dorian, but I'd play the same key signature that was in D. Okay, so I'm going to play F sharps and C sharps, starting on E. Okay, now that has the same whole step, half step combination as the other Dorian mode we looked at. So this is E Dorian, and then mode number 3 in this key, the D major, mode number 3 would be what? F sharp Phrygian. F sharp Phrygian. And you're going to play F sharp up to F sharp with the key signature of D major where it came from. Okay? And then mode number 4, thinking back again in D major, mode number 4 would be the 4th scale degree in D major up to its octave with the key signature of 2 sharps. Okay? And that would be the Lydian scale. And then the Mixolydian would be A up to A in the key signature of 2 sharps. The B up to B would be the Aeolian with 2 sharps in it, and it's also the pure minor, right? And then C sharp up to C sharp with 2 sharps, playing with C sharps and F sharps. Back thinking again in D major. This is our Locrian mode. So modes, any major scale carries with it Ionian, Dorian, Phrygian, Lydian, Mixolydian, Aeolian, and Locrian. So you could start on any major scale and create that. Just remember that scale degree 1 is the Ionian mode, scale degree 2 up to its octave is the Dorian mode. So memorize them by scale degrees. Scale degree 3 is the tonic of the Phrygian mode. Scale degree 4 is the tonic of the Lydian mode. Scale degree 5 is the tonic of the Mixolydian mode. Scale degree 6 is the tonic of the Aeolian, which is also the pure minor scale. Scale degree 7 is the tonic of the Locrian mode, and remember that the Locrian mode really isn't used very much because its tonic triad is diminished, which is very unusual, so composers shy away from that. Now our next video, I'm going to show you all this stuff on paper. So let's go to that video now.